one of the, I think it's true to say, literally hundreds of executive orders signed by Donald Trump since he got back into the White House not so long ago, was one which pauses all foreign assistance funded by the U.S. State Department in U.S. aid for 90 days. Now, included in that foreign assistance is PEPFAR, which stands for the United States President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. This was introduced by George Bush, and it is, I think, almost unarguably one of the most successful foreign aid programs in U.S. history. It has saved literally millions, perhaps even dozens of millions of lives, and it has helped prevent the spread or reduce the spread of HIV/AIDS. International relations expert Professor John Stremlau joins us now from Johannesburg. John, good afternoon. Would I be creating false hope if I reminded people it's a pause, not a scrapping?
Well, John, it's a reminder of the costs involved in the imprecise orders of executive orders, and maybe sheds light on why Trump was such a lousy businessman, because the business community doesn't like uncertainty, and here it has practical consequences that are potentially enormous, but it's a very imprecise order, and we don't know what it risks in terms of the treatment of HIV, treatment for millions of South Africans and around the world.
So some of the social media response to this has, from Republican politicians, has been very critical, and one wonders, one hopes that this is something where in those 90 days there'll be enough of a wave or enough momentum within the Republican establishment to say to Donald Trump, now hold on a second, this really does America's image in the rest of the world good. You can't stop this.
Well, that may be the case in the specific, but the Republicans have so far been rather supine when it comes to Donald Trump's and his remarkable recovery and election. But I have spent time looking at the polling of responses to his innumerable executive orders, and the majority are unpopular with the voters. And so there is a time bomb ticking about Donald Trump's ability to govern beyond this outrush of executive orders. But meanwhile, the HIV/AIDS program, PEPFAR, has been a very solid, as you point out, bipartisan effort. It was George W. Bush, not the father, who actually initiated PEPFAR, which I like to think is the good side of what was a flawed presidency financially and won the Iraq intervention. But it has been a widespread source of pride across both parties, and as several of the other, pardoning the January 6th criminals is very unpopular according to polling, and so I think that there is a buildup, and maybe Trump expects it, of protests, and we'll see what happens in the 2026 congressional elections. But in the meantime, people are suffering from the uncertainty surrounding the PEPFAR funding. Even in the Project 2025, the background paper on South Africa recommended a phasing out over 10 years of PEPFAR, which is at least a subject which we could debate, but not acting precipitously as Trump has done.
So I was reading earlier today, sort of prepping for this interview, a statement from the International AIDS Society issued a couple of days ago. This is a matter of life or death. PEPFAR provides life-saving antiretrovirals for more than 20 million people. Stopping its funding essentially stops their HIV treatment. If that happens, people are going to die and HIV will resurge. I mean, that paragraph encapsulates why this is so important.
Yes, it will be a cutting edge issue I hate to, when lives are at stake, you hate to talk about political processes, but the voters spoke irresponsibly, I feel, but nevertheless they spoke, and Kamala Harris honored that outcome. But it is now for the voters to show their frustration with Donald Trump. But I don't like the fact that lives would be lost, and obviously that's the acid test. But we'll see what happens. It is a very imprecise executive order, according to the headlines that I've also seen and about this thing. And I have not read the text of it, but it is certainly a concern for all of us, and may spark a protest against Donald Trump's irresponsibility on a whole variety of fronts.
Professor John Stremlau, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon.